Yeah. So, hello everyone and welcome. There was a technical issue on our end, which is why we thought we were live, but we actually weren't. So, what I'll do is I'll give you a brief introduction of the people that are going to be taking this webinar. We have Mr. Gaurav Mahajan with us, who's heading our quant team. We are having Mr. Deepak Gawas, who's taking care of marketing from our end. Mr. Ismail, who will be taking care of the support on the platform. If you talk to the live stream, the live chat on the platform, it's probably Ismail who you're talking to. And Over the last 1 month, we've sort of released a few features which are we think are really interesting. So one of the things that we released was multi-symbol strategies. So for example, you can do pairs trade and arbitrage type strategies on the platform now. And what's coming down the pipe in terms of features is that we're going to release a form-based strategy builder where if you don't know how to code, you can still create a few strategies on the platform. And the good part about our platform is that at the end of the day, you will still have access to the code. If you want to, go into the code and sort of make a very complicated, very sophisticated, robust strategy, then you can still do that even though the initial code was generated by the form. And if you have any questions throughout the session, you can just keep sending us the questions on the chat. And we also have a Calendly link that Ismail will be pasting on the chat itself, which you can use to schedule a demo with us, in which we can go through the platform in more detail, or we can go into some of the strategies that we see today. So with that being said, I'll just send it over to Gaurav. Gaurav, you can just walk us through the three strategies that we're going to talk about today.
Yes. All right. Good evening, everyone. So today we're going to showcase how easy it is to build a standard set of strategies on our platform and how much flexibility and depth.
Okay, all right. I think I should be streaming now. Yeah, connection looks stable.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. So Gaurav, we were talking about Bollinger Bands.
Your screen, Aviral?
Yep. Okay. All right. There you
go. Okay, so we're back again. So we want to talk about three strategies with you, and we're starting with the mean reversion one. But I don't see your screen yet.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen on Skype as well as on OBS. Both look to be okay.
Can anyone else see it on Skype?
Yeah, it's visible at both places.
I don't see it at Skype.
So Gaurav, maybe I can do a pass and then you can fill in the blanks if you want to.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll look up. Whenever you need me to speak about looking at that screen, I can work.
Sure. So
okay,
essentially,
so yeah.
Yeah. So the reversion strategy that we're talking about today is based on Bollinger Bands. So what we're doing is we're monitoring the last 21-day SMA and a 2 standard deviation band around that with Bollinger Bands. And what we're doing is interesting. So we're learning the whole week, and we're taking a position on Thursday, and only on Thursday, and no other day beyond that, which we can do with the calendar-based risk controls on the platform. So the entire week we keep learning and then take a position on Thursday. And what we do is essentially whenever the close goes below the bottom of the band, we go long, and then we have different exit points. So if it's a large move on the top side and within 4 bars itself we cross the top of the band, then we square off. Then we have a few other square off points as well beyond the 4 holding period If it goes beyond the 4 holding period, we check if the line has crossed the midpoint, and then we square off on that. If not, then we can square off if we hit a 2% profit. If that doesn't happen, then we square off at the 2% stop loss. And we also have an end bar. So if nothing happens by the 10th bar, then we square off, whatever the case may be. So that's the Bollinger Band strategy. We're running it again only on Thursdays. We're learning through the week, and we're running it on ONGC on 1 hour bars. So now, as soon as we press this button, of course, the strategy gets saved in your account. The data gets populated through our data engine, and the strategy is going through each and every bar and trying to understand where it can take a position based on the conditions that you've provided. On this strategy, what is interesting is that the kind of conditions that we put in, it will be difficult to put in this kind of a complicated strategy on a form-based builder, for example. So that's one interesting thing that we wanted to point out. Also, we've put in calendar-based risk controls, which is unique to our platform. We don't have it we've not seen it happening in any other platform in this kind of a manner. So now the strategy is done processing the data. The total return is about 7.4. We have all of our detailed metrics on how many trades were long, how many trades were short, how many were positive, how many were negative, etc. How many trades did we take overall, and then we can go into some of the trades and see what happened. And I can also populate the Bollinger Band on top of the chart itself and visually analyze the trades. So what we're doing is a 21 day instead of 21 period instead of 20 period. So I'll just change that as well. And then let's just look at one of the trades that happened. So here essentially we have the midpoint being met. So we took a position as soon as the price went below the band, and then we square off at the midpoint. So things like that would be happening across all of these trades that are being performed, and the individual trades are listed here. Then, Gaurav, should we start with the second strategy? If you're okay.
Hello, I'm audible, Res? Yes?
Yeah, you're audible now.
Okay, so now we are moving to the trend following strategy. This is also popularly known as turtle trading strategy. In this case, we have created our own function within the editor. We have written a Donchian channel because the default library didn't provide it. So our editor is strong enough for us to write down a complete function. Okay, so I've written a Donchian channel, and then we just initiate it within the init code. And then there is a counter which we maintain for strategies to know how to handle our exit if required. Okay, in this case, basically, whenever there is a breakout from the last 20 period high, we go long, and then whenever there is a 20 period low in the future, we square off that position. Similarly, on the opposite side, we wait for the 20 period low to initiate a short position and then square it off as it returns back towards the high. So Aviral, let's please run this for a security.
Right. So we're running it on Reliance end of day, just because this is a trend following strategy, and if there is one instrument that's sort of popular for being trendy, it's Reliance. We in fact had a joke that we published on our social media that people were crying because they didn't buy Reliance in March. So we're just trying to see if this strategy sort of captures any of the downward or upward moves within the Reliance symbol. Again, as we are speaking, the whole data is being run through on Reliance. So now we can see all the trades. So this has made approximately 45 in the last whatever period that we ran this backtest on. Again, the distribution of longs and shorts, and as we can see on the visual inspection itself, we have captured both the downward as well as the upward trend. Although the upward trend capturing was slightly late, but we've captured both, and we're making money both sides. So let me just show you. For example, we went short on January the 7th. So let me just plot Donchian channel on top of this. Yeah, so essentially we went short in January because of a Donchian channel being breached here, and then we square off, when the Donchian channel got breached on the other side. We got very close to actually squaring off the trade here, but it didn't actually happen. We continued the downward trend without breaching the top of the band, and then we squared off here. So those are two examples that we can show. So another one would be here, where we breached the top of the band and then we squared off at the other end. So that's Donchian channels. Again, this strategy is basically running on the highest high of the last 21 days and the lowest low of the last 21 days on a rolling basis. And whenever that band gets breached, we take a position that basically wants the trend to continue or bets on the trend to continue, and this is the result based on that. So, and again, one more reminder is that this was an indicator that wasn't part of the core library, and in the strategy itself, we built a custom, indicator for Donchian channels. So, you can imagine any other, custom kind of an indicator situation where you want to code it. You can basically do that on the builder as well. So it's pretty powerful in terms of what it can do. Can we move to the third one, Gaurav?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now we are going to show you a multi-symbol, which most of the popular platforms don't allow. We have created a market neutral pairs trade strategy, and in this example, we are going to take two stocks from the banking sector. We have Axis Bank and HDFC Bank, and within our code template, it's a very simple implementation, and then we will request you to make it as sophisticated as you want. So all we are doing is we are calculating a ratio of these two securities to create a new time series, which is the ratio of these two securities. Now, the logic is that this ratio usually holds, and if this ratio goes beyond a certain band, then that's a good opportunity to go long and short the other and wait for it to revert back towards that ratio. So once we have that, once the platform has calculated that ratio, we apply a Bollinger Band on top of that series. In this, the look back period is 40, and the bandwidth, the standard deviation is two units. So once we have written this in our initialize code for the calculations, we specify our enter and exit conditions in the step code. So in this case, when the ratio goes down, like towards the lower band, that tells you that it's time to go long the security 1 and short security 2. In this case, the security 1 is represented by the index 0 and security 2 by 1. So when it's towards the lower band, we take positions in that fashion, and we square it off when it reverts back towards the mid. The ratio reverts back. Similarly, we have the opposite criteria. When it goes towards the top band, we take opposite long and short positions. And again, once it returns back to the mid band, we square it off. So let's please run this, Aviral.
Okay. So now, as Gaurav just discussed, we are basically betting on the correlation between two instruments to continue. So if one went up but didn't go up as much as the other, then we're betting on them to sort of come back towards one another, or essentially the division or the ratio between the close of the two instruments to remain more or less the same. So that's what we're betting on here. And so once we have the trades, what we are doing is, if we go into the trades, all the rest of the screens are exactly the same. On the trades themselves, we will have both trades for both the instruments, and one will be a long trade and the other will be a short trade. and so that's what we're now doing or looking at. So essentially on 25th of September, we went long Axis and short HDFC, and based on whatever initial capital we provided, it'll calculate the quantity on its own and the ROI as well. And visually, if we want to inspect the trades, then we can do that on the chart as well. There is a question that has come into the chat, which Ismail has sort of let me know on. How are you carrying the short trades for so many days? Aren't you supposed to square off the position EOD? That is correct. So what we're doing currently is backtesting. What we can do when we're deploying this or simulating on paper trades is that we can deploy it on the futures instruments, and we also have an option to roll over the position to another contract if we want to. So since backtesting is largely to make sure that the concept of the strategy is correct, we're just plotting it on equities, but we can deploy futures and also roll over the contracts whenever they expire to the next one. So that's a short answer to that question. Gaurav, do you want to highlight something else on this one?
Yeah, yeah. So this is to teach you how easy it is to build a strategy. Like if once the real world conditions enter the picture, you can run it at a higher time frequency. You can run it at an hour level, at minute. So all those frequencies are available. In which case you will get your long short signals and the square off within the day, within the week itself.
Right, and the system does its best to sort of provide you the tools that you need to actually take these kind of positions in the market, including, as I said, the rollover and the automatic rollover based on expiry. And of course, this multi-symbol strategies, you can also think of this as analyzing Axis Bank and HDFC Bank, and instead of buying, say, the equity, you can then buy the ATM options contract if you wanted to. So we can add more instruments here. So you could buy the ATM options contract. You can buy the futures. You can short the futures, etc. So you can add up to 8 instruments, and then you can take a position on any of those based on analyzing any of those. So it's very, very flexible in terms of what it actually allows you to do.
Correct. So yeah, so that's the overall point. Like not only multi-symbol, multi-time frequency, anything that you would like to analyze on, take position on, that is available within the same strategy.
Right.
So this is just limited by your imagination once you start, building a framework to deploy.
Right. And one more, example of this kind of a strategy would be forward curves, but I don't think anybody trades forward curves, or at least profitably in India. So you could essentially have the continuous futures contracts, all of the three, being analyzed against the underlying as well. That's one of the other things that you could do. Do I need to, okay, there's another question from Ismail that's being sent across. Do I need to run this one by one, or can I run it for multiple instruments? You can definitely run it for multiple instruments. This interface is just to build the strategy, and then when you're going into bulk backtesting, there is this whole backtesting screen where you see all the backtests, and then when you press this plus button and go into addition of backtests, you can then specify not only a single instrument, but you can also specify a bucket, and the bucket can be as large as you want based on what you build. So you can build any kind of custom bucket from the screener that you want, and then you can run a strategy on the whole bucket if you wanted to. Not only that, you can also run it on multiple time intervals at once. So you can run it on the 1 minute and the 1 day time interval all at once. So just to give you an example, if this bucket had 8 symbols and I run these 2 time interval backtests at once, I'm essentially running 16 backtests all by one click. And all of them will come here on the backtesting screen, be available to you to look at. And the aggregated numbers, so the average numbers from all of those will be shown on top, and you can switch between a few strategies if you wanted to judge one versus the other. So this is now the average backtest results for one of the strategies, which is simple trend, for example. So that's basically it, right, Gaurav, for the contents that
Yeah.
we were supposed to cover here.
Correct. So we
So
wanted to show you a spectrum of strategies, So now the overall overarching point here is uh, so e- so we have used Bollinger Band and Donchian channel and ratios to create our spectrum of strategies of reversion, trend following, and reversion uh, at a multiple security level. But you can use any other band. So instead of Donchian, if you want to use Keltner, you can build that with just a single change of statement.
right.
Similarly, you want to use a band other than Bollinger, you can do that for. And you want to use different time periods, different exit criteria. So this is the first range of strategies we wanted to show you that you can get started with, but you can build any other strategies that you're comfortable with, or you would like us to help you create a template of those strategies. We can You can build any strategy that you can conceive.
Correct. And before we launch the form-based builder, because we know a lot of you will not be comfortable working with code, we are, okay with building any or coding any kind of strategy that you can throw at us. So just give us the, the rules, and we will code it for you, and you can use it in your account. Also, to get you started, as you would be aware, we have a forever free version, which also does allow you to do a couple of backtests a day. So you can use the free version. It will give you live data on the charts. It will basically allow you to have futures, options, instruments, and plot the premium of the options, for example, on a live basis for free. And you can also develop your strategies and do a few backtests a day. And if you need more, of course, we can provide you a free trial of our paid plans. Uh, and apart from that, also code the strategies that you have in mind. Um, so that's
So,
yeah, Deepak, go on.
so guys, we have questions. One is
Yeah.
from Sripak. What he's asking is this code available on the platform? That's one.
Okay.
And the second one is from Rohit, who's saying, are there any more calendar controls other than the day control?
Okay. So the first question is the code available on the platform? Currently, no. What we will do is that we will, when we post these videos, we will post the code to these strategies on the description of the video, and also we will, Deepak, do we want to also put this on the blog somehow as a post
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah, that would be helpful because like the
Okay,
other documentation which we have where you can find out the parameters and
sure.
everything, this would definitely help.
So we will
Well,
also put a blog article with the code to these strategies so that you guys can have access to it. Uh,
but the template code is already there.
yeah, there are a few templates to get you started as well. That's whenever you go into create a strategy, there are a few templates that you can choose from here. Again, referencing similar kind of conditions. So this is a Bollinger Band template, for example, where you go short when you breach the top band, and you go long when you breach the bottom band and square off at the midpoint. So things like that are available. The exact strategies that we showed you today, we will be sending you on the post on the blog, as well as the video description when we post this. The second question was, let me just check. Okay,
Calendar
is there a
control.
way to okay, calendar-based risk controls. Okay. So apart from days, you can specify. Let me just go to the intraday time intervals and show you that. Yeah. So yeah. So you can specify a start time to the day and an end time to the day. So if you want, you can only trade between say 10 and 2. If you think the volatility at the start and the end of the day is too much for the kind of strategy that you're doing, then you can specify a start and an end time. Uh, Within the week, you can specify a day. Within a month, you can specify a certain week. If you don't want to trade within the last week of the month, for example, you can do that. If you don't like to trade a few months, some of the larger swing strategies do have these kind of conditions where you don't want to trade in a few months. So you can do that. You can just remove those months, and then the calendar that you have within the strategy gets access to which months are not there. Apart from that, you can also enter special dates. So, for example, if you don't want to trade the budget day, if you don't want to trade F&O expiry days, things like that, you can just enter those days as well, and then they'll be eliminated from the calendar that you can check within the strategy. Um, so yeah, so intraday time intervals you can specify. You can specify days within the month, within the week, weeks within the month, and months within the years that you can roll out, and special dates which you can remove from the calendar altogether. Uh, okay, one more question that I noticed was, is there a way to learn these parameters? So now, in terms of learning the actual period and the deviation, I'm assuming that's the question. So if you're trying to learn what is the best parameter to use, Gaurav, do you have any ideas on parameter tuning?
Yeah, the first layer of investigation is to look at your negative trade. So the template that we showed you, we started with that as the Bollinger Band strategy, and as we analyzed the negative trades, we were able to see how to modify, which direction to take in terms of modifying the periods and the standard deviations. But in terms of machine learning it, in the future we will have machine learning libraries, and we can even statistically learn those parameters. But right
Okay.
now the methodology is to run a large set of back tests and figure it out.
Okay. Then another question is, can I run a strategy on multiple time intervals? Absolutely. So if you're trying to analyze, there are two ways in which you can do this. One is when you're trying to analyze multiple different time intervals for the same security and learning based on that. So you can do that. So for example, TCS 1 minute plus TCS end of, so you can just click on the plus here and add TCS end of day, for example. So now I have access to TCS end of day as well as end of minute, both on this strategy, and I can analyze both in whatever way I want. So that's one way to do it. And when if you're only talking about a single instrument security strategy, and you want to test them on multiple instruments or on multiple time intervals, then you can do that as well. As I said earlier, when you click on backtest, you can specify 1 minute plus 1 day or 1 week, 1 month, whatever. So the individual candles that are then being specified to the strategy are 1 day in this case and 1 minute on this case, and this will basically test if I select Donchin or let's say if I select MACD1 and if I select Reliance, then we're testing the MACD no bound strategy on the Reliance instrument for 1 minute and 1 day both uh, for the durations that I've selected here by one click essentially. And as soon as it's done, it comes back to the backtesting page and you have access to each and every backtest. So
So there's one more. Sorry to interrupt. You can continue, Aviral.
no, no, I think I was just about to say any other questions that we can answer.
Yeah, there's one more. It seems a pretty complicated one for me.
Hmm.
Someone, can you build a Keltner channel trading strategy here?
Sure, absolutely. I think uh, as I specified, we have access to all of these different indicators on the platform, which you can use, in conjunction with one another. Uh, I've just plotted Keltner on the Nifty 50, for example. So you can visually, if you want to see it, you can see it here. If you want to build a strategy, then you just go to the strategy page, strategy building page, and then you can specify Keltner here. Uh, the exact code we can specify. As I said, you can just schedule a demo with us. We can build that strategy out for you, and then you can use it on the platform itself. Although all the code guidelines that we have are in the learn section. When you click on this question mark here, there is this indicator section that you can go to, and here are all the indicators that we have on the platform. So then you can look for the one that you want to trade based on. There are about, I don't know, 120 or something, uh, you know, uh, indicators on the platform at the moment. So this example for this code, for example, is for MACD, where you can use something like this. Anything else that we can cover, Deepak?
Yeah. So I mean, this is nobody has asked this, but this is one of the most commonly asked questions.
Hmm.
So, what if I don't really know how to code? How do I
Right.
get started with this piece?
So yeah, as I said, we can do two things, and we're doing both. One is that we're open to coding any kind of strategy that you want to throw at us. If your rules are clear, we can code it for you and give the code to you so that you can use it on the platform. And up to the point where we release where we release the form-based strategy building capability, that service is completely free for you to use. Uh, as soon as we do release that capability, we're then expecting you to do that work and then do that yourself on the platform itself. But until we release that capability, we're here to help you out, and we'll just code your strategy for you, no matter how complicated that is. Um, so that's one answer, and of course, embedded in that is the second answer as well, where we're developing a form-based builder to generate the code for you and to get you started very very quickly. And hopefully, a combination of these two answers will be good enough to suffice for most of the traders out there.
Yeah, I think we covered all the questions. So, is there anything else, Gaurav, you would like to or should I close?
I think you can just check with them. They were able to follow how the three strategies were created. And the second is what kind of strategies they usually create. If we can, get so that will help us prepare for the next webinar.
Oh, okay, sounds
Right.
good. So, thank you guys for joining us. What we'll do is we noticed there were some couple of technical snacks from our end. Really sorry for that inconvenience. What we are going to do is we are going to post this video as well within within a couple of days. So in case you have missed any section, you can always visit the video and go through it again. Also, as Aviral mentioned, there would be a couple of blog articles which we'll be putting out around the strategies to help you get more familiar with the platform and how you can use it to the max. Also, it would be great if you could, reach out to us or simply post your comments saying, how did you find this and are there any specific strategies you would like us to cover in our next one? We would be happy to, incorporate those with us.
Right. And as we said earlier, the platform has a free version for you to try out. So do go to phi1.io. I'll just try typing it in for you guys to see. And just you can go straight into sign up, sign in. There is no real thing to do, no credit card information to give us or anything like that. Just go straight in, try using the platform. Give us feedback on support at phi1.io. That's really really helpful. If you face any issue whatsoever, you can just click on this live chat button. It's also there on the platform. You can just click here and click on the live chat button. This sends us a message directly, and hopefully we'll get an answer to you very very quickly here. So that's basically it. Should we end the stream, Deepak?
Yes, yes, great. And one final comment from Mr. Prasad Satpute saying thank you for the webinar. It was very informative. He'll connect separately with us for questions. Sure, Prasad, we are looking forward to connecting with you. Ismail has already posted our contact details in the comment section. Do reach out to us.
All right. Thank you everyone. Stay safe. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye bye. Thanks, guys.